These videos are brought to you by MSCCasino.com and the Macau Sporting Club. MSCCasino.com. Check it out.
You are watching SportsMatters TV.
So look, Shauna, first of all, after an incredible debut with Invicta, how's things with you? Obviously, look, we got that announcement that Cage Legacy 18 is going to happen. Invicta have definitely given you permission to fight, which is great for the Irish fans. But how's preparation going for December?
Yeah, it's gone really good. I think I was obviously in camp because I knew I was fighting on that show, but it was very difficult to get an opponent. So a lot of people were asked and declined or weren't available, or so it was the first few weeks of camp was a bit messy because I didn't really, well, not messy, but I didn't know who I was fighting or if I was fighting, and everything was stressful because there was nothing put in place. So it was a bit stressful at the start, but we eventually got an opponent. Kerry agreed to have a rematch. So yeah, camp's gone great. Couldn't be better.
Definitely. And look, it's fair to say 99.9% of them tickets will be sold by you and your fans and your legion of fans around Ireland. But look, the Red Cows, it's a great venue. I love the Red Cow in general. I'm looking forward to coming up. But obviously you have a massive fan base. They're obviously going to take up that whole venue. It's going to happen
Yeah. The ticket demand is very high at the moment. So the Mama B crew will be there for sure.
We can't wait. And Cage Legacy itself, look, we have to give it credit. It's a great organisation here in Ireland. It's recognised all around Europe right now. But obviously, look, that championship means a lot to you, and obviously you want to take it.
100%. That was my pro debut, my first professional title, and the second one was for flyweight. So it means so much to me, and I'm not going to be fucking losing it. It's my title.
Yeah, no, and I love it. And you spent we know there's definitely weight categories there for you. Is the double champ status something that it's surely going to happen? Is it? Obviously, you've got more than one belt in your sight.
Yeah, 100%. That's the goal, is to be obviously UFC champion. If I could double that, that'd just be the icing on the cake, really, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
The next title, obviously I'll be defending this title and then hopefully get an Invicta title shot as well. They have the next show, which is on, I think it's next week.
Yeah.
Strawweight tournament's on there. So whoever wins that, hopefully I have one more fight and then fight them for that.
And as you say, the belt is vacant, but we've seen the way MMA world love the Irish fighters. So it's probably fair to say, look, you shouldn't be waiting too long. Given that debut performance in Invicta, given the fan base, you know what I mean, the feedback from your fight, the way you fought, which was incredible. Surely they're not going to be waiting too long to give you that shot. It's only a matter of time before you dominate there as well.
Yeah, 100%. I obviously am. This is my first year as a professional. But I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I'm literally a lifelong martial artist. I've been doing it since I was 3. So it's not a case people are oh, she's only doing MMA this amount of time. But I'm also doing years and years and years on top of that. So to say after another, if I get this fight 4-0, 5-0 with Invicta, then another fight with them, I think my 6th fight should be a title shot. I think I deserve it.
Definitely. And you speak of the early days. Look, we know you're a numerous kickboxing world champion, MMA world champion. How did it start for you first day? Look, obviously it's in the family. It's something that you took to a duck in water from the early age.
Yeah, so my dad would have been in kickboxing for years, and then he opened up his own gym, and he just put me and my sister into it from a young age. He never really forced us to do it. But I did, the first couple of years doing it was kind of just for fun more so. And then when I was 10, 11, I started taking it very serious, competing internationally more. And we would have always went away maybe once a year, and then the rest was just all on the regional scene. But then when I hit 10, 11, it was just international constantly, all different tournaments around the world. So I was competing at a high level from a young age. And yeah, I loved it. Kickboxing was my life for so many years, and I'll always have big love for kickboxing. But I think with MMA now, it's the next chapter, and it just gives me, I have a different drive for MMA than I did for kickboxing. It's just, I think because there's so much going on, it just I just love it so much. You can constantly learn. I don't think I know everything. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with kickboxing, I kind of, not that I was getting bored, but it was starting to get a little bit repetitive towards the end, and there wasn't really any more goals for me because I had won the highest that there was to win multiple times. So it kind of just got like a little bit repetitive and boring. And then I was like, when I got introduced to MMA, it just opened my eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is unreal.
It's surreal, like, and you mentioned the regional scene because, look, obviously, you know what I mean. You be a couple of years younger than me, but I always remember you in the headlines as an amateur and even on a kickboxing scene. So, like, how important is the regional scene and the international scene to progress? Because, look, you're like a veteran. Like, people that are new to MMA say, "Oh, look at this girl, and she's 3-0," but like they don't realize that you've been around a long, long time. Kickboxing is a gruesome and very gifted sport, and obviously MMA, it's huge, but like, how important is that regional scene and then going on to the international scene important for your progression as an MMA fighter?
It's huge. Like I think like starting off from the regional scene, it gets like you obviously get nerves. There's all that adrenaline. Like that's still there no matter how small or big the tournament is. And like I think the more you do that, the more you get used to it and the more you can cope with it. And that's a huge part because a lot of people crumble under the big lights. Whereas I've been in the big lights, the small lights, the little sports halls, the huge arenas. I've done it all in kickboxing. So like I have that experience where no, I felt this before and I know it's going to be okay and breathe through it. And when the bell goes, it's like nearly all that goes and you just go for your fight. You know what I mean? So I think like starting off in the regional scene, building yourself, building your confidence, getting used to being in the tournament environment because there's only so much you can do in a gym. You have to actually get out there and do it when it's competitive, when someone wants to kill you and you want to kill someone, and it's just there's a different energy and a different kind of like I don't know, people just go for it more. Like people get knocked out because like and then like they're gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's completely different in a tournament base, and you obviously have to start somewhere. So like the regional scene is perfect for that. Like even with MMA now, there's like the gamma and that's so you can do all that before your amateur fights. And then there's the IMAFs, which is unbelievable. Like I wouldn't have got as many amateur fights in my amateur career if it wasn't for the IMAFs because I really struggled to get opponents in the like in Ireland, England and stuff like that. Like it just like they'd happen and then they'd fall through and it was just a nightmare. So with the IMAFs, I was guaranteed fights because there was people in the division and they signed up, and it was kind of rare that people pulled out when they went over there because you're going all the way to Bahrain or Rome or wherever it'll be. So it's less likely for someone to pull out. So the IMAFs was like a really good thing for me from my amateur career. Like although it's kind of slightly different because it's like a tournament base, you're fighting like back to back days in a row. It's not like it is for the pro scene, but there's pros and cons to everything because I got the fights in. Like I don't regret it, you know what I mean? You have some people saying that the IMAFs isn't realistic because you're not going to be fighting that way at pro, but if you can't get fights, I don't mind fighting back to back days in a row. That's what I would have done for years. And anyways, with kickboxing, the wackos, you would have had a fight every day. And then like if I went to a World Cup tournament, I'd fight on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd probably do like 3 or 4 divisions, maybe more than the team event, than the open weight. So like I was used to that anyway, so that didn't bother me. I was like, everyone was like, "Oh, that's mad fighting days in a row," and I'm like, "I've done that for years. That's fresh," and it means your experience with each fight. You know what I mean? And you're going into fights where you're a little bit banged up, so you might have to like adapt and fight different, or do you know what I mean? Like if you have a sore leg, you might have to take someone down, or vice versa. Like so, it is good to kind of because in fights you might be like that as well. You might have an injury and you might have to do certain things. So it's the same in my eyes, and I think it's just an amazing platform to grow and build as an amateur.
And like it's probably fair to say no, it's an all-time high. Like for any Irish amateur star right now, look, it's obviously the platforms are there. Years and years ago, it'd been a lot harder, but look, the opportunities are there to represent Ireland is incredible. But obviously, we've seen you back. You know what I mean? Before you made your pro debut, you were gold medals. You had a great team. We've seen all the crew in Cork going up at you. And look, there was great days and great weeks. But it's obviously a great time to be alive right now for an Irish amateur because look, the platforms are there, and it's about time it's happened.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, especially for females, because like there's a lot more girls in the scene now, especially like around Ireland and the amateurs. Like the last like 2 years, there's just been kind of a little growth, and there's like a lot and they're active and they're competing and they want it. So it's great because if they're all pushing off each other, it's just going to make everyone better. Do you know what I mean? And then it's going to grow and grow and grow. And I think Ireland as a country in combat sports, we're unreal in anyways, like kickboxing, boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu. Like we have such high level. We literally, and I don't think we get credit because we're such a small country and we always end up in the top rankings. We're in the top 5 all the time. And that's against like Russia and countries that get like funding and are paid, and that's their job. Whereas as the amateurs over here, they have to pay to actually go. And we're still competing with the best of the best and the ones that are getting all the funding. Do you know what I mean? So I think Ireland, we don't give ourselves enough respect for what we do in combat sports across the board.
Of course. Now, obviously, we know how good you were as an amateur, as a pro. Look, absolutely fucking shining. Like your headlines, we love all the tweets, the Instagram stories. Mama B, incredible mother, by the way. I don't know how, like, you multitask so many things. Credit where it's due. All the mams out there should be taking a lead from your book, but you had so many offers on the plate, right? And obviously, Invicta is fucking, it's an incredible organization. And we see like Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, you know what I mean? There's so many great women that have come from them organizations and gone on to huge things. So why pick them? Obviously, look, you've seen the pattern, you know, UFC are very close to them in the sense of, look, we see a lot of girls from Invicta go to UFC. Was that the route you wanted to take? Obviously, look, UFC down the road, that's your goal?
Yeah, like I think from the very start, when I started MMA and like I knew I was going to be doing it, even as an amateur, I always was like Invicta is the goal. And then when a couple of different options came, like I was kind of thinking, oh, won't, like, will I go there? Will I go there? But I had a chat with like loads of different Irish people that went with all the different promotions that I had offers from. And I spoke to a couple of the promoters themselves. And Shannon just stood out to me. She just seemed genuine and she just, like, she wants what's best for her athletes. Do you know what I mean? And she just was very honest. And I just clicked to her and I got a good vibe off it. And I was like, no, that was my go from the start. And I was right. Like, there was other offers from KSW, Aries, Combat Global, PFL. Who else was there? There was one or two more. And I weighed out all my pros and cons, and like the other promotions are amazing as well. And it's just different journeys for everyone. Do you know what I mean? And I weighed up the pros and cons, and Invicta was just the like number one. When I literally had it all out in front of me, I was like, no, I have to go with my gut as well.
Yeah, no, I think it was the right call. Look, they're huge. And look, I remember watching them from the early days, you know what I mean, with Cyborg and obviously Ronda. And it's an incredible organization. But look, there's no doubt they have an absolute gem on their hands when it comes to Shauna Bannon, because look, we've seen the support. I stayed up and watched the fight. I have 3 kids, and normally I'd fall asleep at 11 o'clock. But look, I knew I was staying up till midnight. I knew I was watching the fight. So look, what was the reaction like to that Infected debut?
It was unbelievable. Like from like literally when we arrived, all the staff, all the production team, everyone was just sound. It was just good vibes. It was like I had a great crack the whole week. It was unreal. Like it really was. The whole experience from start to finish was brilliant. And I think it was kind of like that next step up as well. It was ran very professionally, and yeah, it was great. I can't wait to get back.
And like, you're not afraid to have a knock. We know that. Like, you're constantly in the gym. You're dedicated. You're not like, there's a lot of MMA stars that would stay in the gym all year round. Like, some people will take the breaks. You know what I mean? But it's you're consistent. You're constant. You know what I mean? Every time we see you, you're in the gym. You're doing yoga. You're doing something, and that's obviously going to put you in good stead moving forward. Because look, as you say, you're doing it all your life.
Yeah, 100%. Like, not that I wasn't happy with my last performance. Me and Paddy actually only watched it back again yesterday. I didn't, it wasn't perfect. So like, and I don't think you're ever going to get perfect, but like after the fight, I was devastated. But then when I looked back at it, I was like, I actually done some good things. But in the fight, I thought I lost. If I'm not boxing the head off someone, I think I'm losing. Like I'd be like to Paddy in between rounds, am I winning? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And that was supposed to be open scoring. So Invicta is normally open scoring, but because it was in Oklahoma, the state commission doesn't allow it or something. So we were in between the rounds and we were like, are we winning? And the fella was just like, I don't know. And we were like, what do you mean? Like, it's open scoring. And then I thought they were lying to me. And I was like, tell me if I'm winning or not. Did I win that round? Me and Paddy were having back and forth in the middle of the thing. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, like after that fight, like I put my hand in the air, like when I was walking around, but I was like, I lost that. Like in my head, like looking back, I clearly won every round, but in my head, I was like, no, I lost. And I'm like that with my hands in the air. And I was like, Paddy, did I get it? And he's like, I don't know. And we're all just all over the place because when that like the action is happening, it's just so hard to kind of take it all in. But like I was like looking back now, I was happy with the performance. But there's obviously things that I would have liked to do different. I think with this next fight, like I just want to be me again. Like I think I kind of had a point to prove to people that I was able to do jiu-jitsu and able to wrestle and able to grapple, and I've done that now. So I just want to go back to my style, and have fun with it again. Do you know what I mean? Because I think like there was a lot of pressure on for my pro debut, the second fight as well, like because it was like the main event and it was in Tala and it was just like, but yeah, I think I just want to, my next fight, I just want to enjoy and have fun and be me.
And like, how did you feel that there? So obviously we knew that the Invicta debut was huge. You know, everyone was talking about it. Like we knew fight day. Is there any jitters? Obviously you've got a great team. You know, I've met Paddy numerous times over the years. I absolutely love him to bits. But obviously there's a good team around you. Like, did you find any jitters? Were you confident? Obviously you're confident, but like, did you find any nerves going into that fight? Because like, obviously there's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, like I always get nervous. I don't not get nervous, but I think I'm good at dealing with them now. I was definitely less nervous for that fight than I was for, let's say, my pro debut. I was like, I don't know what it was with that. I think because it was the first for like loads and it was in Tala and the whole place was there for me. And I was like, oh, but like even you can see it, like even in waiting in the warm up area and all, because like your mum was recording it and like I'm just like tense. But then when I go to walk and my song comes on, I'm like, right, let's go. This is when I can have fun. But yeah, on the day for Invicta, like I was nervous, but like I was okay. Like I wasn't like the worst I've been, I suppose. Like I was managing it. And yeah, like should we done me and that girl done the weight cut together. We arrived at the sauna and she was there and I was like, is this real life? Literally in the sauna cutting weight together and me and Sarah were putting on all Irish songs and all singing to her. She was just like, what is wrong with that people? Singing the fucking to her.
That's what it's all about though. But like it's as you say, it's you know what I mean, when we look at it on camera on TV, I did it on the big screen, like you didn't look nervous one bit. Obviously, look, this is your territory. You've been there so many years, you know what I mean? You know what it's all about. Well, what's it like having Paddy with you? Because look, Paddy's an absolute legend here in Ireland, obviously a UFC legend. Obviously his career was cut short. He didn't want to pack it in, but look, he's done some great things since. Obviously training elite fighters, and obviously it's great to have him there with you.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'd be lost without Paddy. He's helped me every step of the way, and he's guided me. He's like my mentor. Do you know what I mean? So like he would have had a big say in what promotion I went to, and I take his opinions and voice on board the whole time. Obviously, it's my decision at the end of the day, but like I take his opinion all the time. To be fair, because he's in there, he's done it. You know what I mean? He's the things that he's done good, the things that he's done bad. He's learned from it all, and he's feeding that then back through me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm very grateful to have him as part of the team. Like him and Sarah, they're the best corner I could ask for. Like I'd be lost without the two of them. They're so good for me inside and outside the pitch.
Definitely. Now, how does your schedule look for the next couple of weeks? Look, December 4th. It's a beautiful date given the fact you can enjoy Christmas right now. The lead up to Christmas will be hard for you. But obviously we have the cold winter mornings here in Ireland, the shitty fog, the rain, the cold. So how does Shauna prepare? Obviously you're dedicated. Look, we know how good you are. So how different is it for this fight than all the other fights? Is it just the same, or is it just you push yourself harder each time?
No, it's the same. Do you know, like I think like this year's been a hectic, busy year. So I'm gonna enjoy me Christmas with my son. I'm looking forward to that. But the next few weeks I'll just keep going at it. You know what I mean? Juggling everything with motherhood and being a full-time athlete, balancing it all out, which I kind of think I do good most of the time.
You do,
Some
you do.
days for sure, but we get there and we do it. And I think with the difficulties in camp and the struggles, like it makes the win more special. So I always just think about fight night and when my hand's going to be raised, when some days get tough or I'm exhausted because Jace is up all night and I still have to go and do a session, or trying to get babysitters to watch him while I'm training. All of it, it's worth it in the end, you know.
Of course.
Like sick or whatever, like he's a bit sick at the moment, so it's like, yeah. But we get it done, and another few weeks, and I'll be able to enjoy Christmas with him.
We can't wait. And obviously, look, it's fair to say, look, you know your opponent well. It's the fight that we all want to see. So what can we expect? Look, I know you're not going to give away tactics because obviously you have your game plan, but how do you see it going? Do you see it being finished early, or do you reckon, you're going to draw it out and just punish?
No, I think there's definitely going to be a finish, but it'll be slightly different to last time.
I love it. And last of all, Shauna, look, you're good for predictions. I always say it. How do you see your career pan out for the next 12 months? Look, obviously, Invicta, it's a beautiful organization. We keep saying it. And look, do you reckon that title will be around the West next year? Do you have that long-term goal? Is it something that you put in place straight away?
Yeah, no, I'll be having the Invicta title next year, and hopefully before the end of next year, I'll be signed to the UFC.
I love it. It's only a matter of time, champ. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to Cage Legacy December 4th. The Red Coat, we'll have all the links up. But look, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you for your time because I know you're busy. So the fact that we've done this interview, it means a lot. So look, we'll catch you at Cage Legacy. We'll catch you on camera. And look, we're looking forward to all your build up to the fight as well. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a good day.
We'll see you soon, Charlotte. Thanks, champ.
Be sure to check out and support all our media partners. Sports Matters, bringing the sports home.